in the second half. Against an opponent like Oklahoma, what do you feel like happened as far as just kind of allowing them to get back in the game?
Well, we allowed them to get back in the game at the end of the first half. We had it at 17, and then, specifically sat there to timeout and was like, okay, guys, both teams in the bonus. We can't foul them at half court when it doesn't matter, and we did it twice. Just things like that. It's like, guys, you have to be able to not only physically play, but you got to be able to mentally play. But we competed. We played hard. We played really, really well. But you can't do that. We had it to a 17-point lead, and then we foul them twice, and then don't switch out on Peyton, who shot the ball well tonight from three, and because we're worried about getting beat off the dribble, something that she really doesn't do, and we give her a three. So now all of a sudden it gets back to, I think, an 11 or 12-point lead at the half, where it should have been 17. And even starting the third quarter, we're sloppy with the basketball. This was probably the best we've done starting a game at taking care of the basketball. We were really good with it. At the end of the first quarter, we had 5 assists and 2 turnovers after the first quarter, and it's 21-14, and did a really nice job. And then at half, we're up to 11. We turned the ball over 9 times in the second quarter, which was a complete opposite from our game at Colorado, where we turned it over 8 times in the first quarter. And it's something we preach every single day, and we work on it. And it's just something that we've got to start understanding the importance of taking care of that basketball. Because when we actually execute on the offensive end and get good looks, I like our chances. So give them a ton of credit. And some of their kids that normally don't hit a bunch of threes made big shots tonight. But again, we sped them up, which we didn't want to, and now all of a sudden they're attacking, and we have to help, and they pitch out, and kids made shots. So you've got to tip your hat to them for that.
Coach, with that last shot, was that what you drew up? It seemed like she hesitated a little bit on the last shot. Was that the
Well, we were trying to get just the best look we can. It's a 4-point game, so you're just trying to see, can you – it doesn't have to be a three. If we get a layup, we'll take the layup, but we're just trying to get the best shot. We had good looks. We just missed them. And you've got to give them a ton of credit for making those tough shots. We had to come up with a stop and just couldn't. We gave them they scored 29 points in the fourth quarter. We did a great job through the first 3, and then we ended up scoring 12 in the fourth. It just it was very unfortunate. We're so close to being really, really good. We're 5-3 right now with 3 top 15 losses, and all 3 of them in the fourth quarter. I don't know if UCLA may have been a 1 or 2 point game in the fourth, but we're right there. We're right there to win all of them, and now we've just got to get over that hump. And I said in my post game, our freshmen are starting to see what a scouting report is. And they're starting to really say, if you can't go left, I'm sitting on your right hand. You're not going to get what you want. And, some of them, it's the first time that they've played at a level like this where they just can't impose their will on somebody. So it's really, and that's part of it, though. That's part of the college experience. And now we're going to be able to take that film and say, hey, this is why we have to work on being able to go left for a pull-up. Get to the basket. But I was really, really pleased with how we competed. I thought Nyla, Riss were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Coach, kind of going off your point just about where the losses have come and the way that your team has played in these games, competing against top teams like yourself, obviously. Are you encouraged by the fact that your team is in these games and that ultimately you are showing signs of growth, especially this early on?
Well, I'm encouraged and then discouraged at the same time. It's a little bit of both. We led the game for 30 minutes, but you've got to be able to put things away, and I've got to do a better job of getting them prepared for that, of making sure at those moments when you're up 5, and we speed them up, and then they hit a three in the corner. It's like, God, it's the last thing we wanted to do is make them play faster, and that's on me. I've got to do a better job of making sure our kids know time and score of situations. If that's in the first quarter and we're trying to speed them up, trying to get things going a little faster, that's great. But in the fourth with 2.5 left, that's not what you want to do, and that's on me. So, it's still a loss, and it sucks. But it's one we're going to continue to take film. I mean, we're showing growth. We're getting better. There's no question about that. I mean, this is the first time Amari Berry's. I mean, she's 0 for 6. It hadn't happened all year, and she had some good looks. So it happens though. It's part of the game, and that's what I'm gonna challenge Amari with. It's like, hey, don't settle for just shooting threes. If they're not going in, you've got a great pull-up game. Go to the pull-up game. But that's part of just learning as a freshman as you come into things, of being able to make that adjustment and make that change. But they all competed. They all played hard. Now we've got to get back to work tomorrow morning. We'll practice before we head up to New York to get prepared to play Yukon on Saturday.
So Olivia and Marissa said that they needed to build their mental toughness, and the team needs to build their mental toughness. Do losses like this help with that, or what do you do to help build that now that you head into
Well, it's like Riss and Nyla and O. I mean, those kids have all played in these types of games. Several of them. It's new for our freshmen, and we're playing a lot of them. They're very talented. So we're going to learn from it, win or loss. I mean, when you win, too, it's not like you're just like, hey, it's all great. You go back and watch the film, say, here are the things we could have done better. I'd much rather learn from a win, because a loss is still a loss. There's no consolation prize in this. But you do have to be able to go through the film and say, hey, here's what we did well. We have to do more of this, and then here's what we have to work on. So that's where I hope we'll continue to grow and get better.
You mentioned those 3 older players with Nyla, Marissa, and Olivia. Yesterday you talked about getting some consistency from those older players. Do you feel like this was a good step for them, especially after the performance Nyla had against Colorado and getting just a little more consistent?
I thought it was a really big step for us. Now we've got to continue to get that, and then take a little bit of that pressure off our freshmen. Because you're going to have games where you go 0 for 6, especially your first year out here playing. Again, I've been very impressed with Taj. I mean, Taj goes 5 of 12. This was really the first game I think I've seen her turn the ball over as much as she did, but she did have 3 assists as well. So they're all gonna grow. I thought Mac did some good things as well. And it's just one of those. It's going to take some time, but we're right in here with chances to win. I've got to do a better job of figuring this out so we can get on the winning side of things in these type of games.
But you mentioned that they had 29 points in the fourth quarter. You guys only had 12, even though it was some good shots. Do you think that maybe the foul trouble possibly played into the lineup that you had out there on the floor at all? Maybe? No.
They also had different lineups on the floor. That's just part of the game.
Yukon coming up, obviously, top flight game there. Some of the things you know about them this year so far?
I haven't even watched them yet. That's the next game on the schedule. I'll start that tonight. We aren't at a point where I can be looking ahead to the next game. But they obviously are ranked 2 in the country and are pretty darn good.
I guess just kind of in a general scope, you've obviously coached against Gino quite a bit. What's your relationship like with him, and just kind of some of those battles that you've had against Yukon in the past?
Oh no, I mean he's a good friend. I've always been very, very impressed with what they've done up there, the consistency that they've done it at. And we've had some really good games, and I'm hoping on Saturday is going to be the same thing. I mean, I know the game got out of control in the fourth quarter up there last year, but it was a great game going into half. And we've got to be able to put 4 quarters together because they're very, very talented, can score at all spots. And we're going to have to play well, and we're going to have to take care of the basketball.
Coach, to be able to have top flight games like this, I mean, how helpful is this preparing your team for what eventually will be a tough ACC run as well?
I'll tell you the end of February. If we go on the roll in the ACC and win about 10 straight, then I'll be like, yeah, it was great. But there are some things where with as many young ones as we have, it's like, okay, was I not very smart to put this schedule in place? Because I'm throwing them into the fire real quick. And, even our Southern Indiana game, a team that's picked to win their league at Martin's, picked to finish a second in the league at Colorado. I mean, we have had some really tough games. And part of that is then I'm not able to get as many of them out there for as many minutes as I'd like to give them the chance to really get adjusted to this. But there's nothing we can do about it now. So we'll go up there in New York. We'll have a heck of a ball game on Saturday night at like 9 p.m., and if it starts at 9, the game before us would be the fastest game in women's basketball history. Because I think that's scheduled for a 7 o'clock tip. So I'm thinking more like a 9:30 ball game. Anybody else? I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.